We're good? Ready to go. Going to call the meeting to order. Rachel, please call the roll.
Here.
Here. Here.
Here.
Here. Please stand for the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Law for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the notice having been sent to the Asbury Park Press, the Coaster, and filed at the office of the Township Clerk on July 12, 2017. Emergency notice. There's an emergency exit through the courtroom doors and 2 exits in the rear. No smoking. Board policy. No new cases after 11 p.m. No new testimony taken after 11:30. In addition, the applicant will be limited to 45 minutes of testimony. All meetings will be video and audio taped and shown on the Township's community cable channel number 22 on Verizon, Fios channel 77 on Cablevision. All cell phones must be turned off, or if you need to make a call, please do it outside the meeting room. Off now. Cases carried to May 17th. Dennis Randall, Gerald Miller, Block 131, Lot 11, 2001, South Wanamassa Drive, Wanamassa. Orrin Linder, Block 40, Lot 3, 608 Deal Road, Ocean. Lakeside Adult Medical Daycare Center, Block 140, Lot 81, 1001 Wickapeco Drive, Wanamassa. Jack Shama, Block 25, Lot 26, 2 Weinberg Court, Oakhurst. Maurice and Adeline Benjamin, Block 22, Lot 38, 250 Overbrook Avenue, Oakhurst. Farah and Rebecca Salami, I'm sorry if I screwed that name up. Block 22, Lot 44.02, 249 Overbrook Avenue, Oakhurst. David Hamadai, Block 25.27, Lot 7, 199 Oakhurst Road, Oakhurst. Charmelay, Block 22, Lot 6, 326 Roosevelt Avenue, Oakhurst. David and Leela Soltz, Block 50, Lot 6, 404 Runyon Avenue, West Deal. Eric Seton, Block 71, Lot 2, 706 Laurel Avenue, West Allenhurst. Case withdrawn. Erica Voigt, Block 25.05, Lot 2, 141 Chatham Avenue, Oakhurst. Resolution and memorialization. It's posted on the board. Seeing that nobody wants me to read that. This is Jerry Maurer, Block 113, Lot 60, 11 Wanamassa Point Road, Ocean, bulk variance approval. Somebody offer?
I'll offer.
I'll second.
Rachel, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Minutes for approval, January 18th, 2018, regular meeting. Somebody offer?
I'll offer. Second.
Rachel, please call the roll.
Okay. I thought I was. Sorry.
Alright. Can I second?
I'll second.
So, yeah.
Yes.
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 Okay, so tonight there are some cases that are off. Case number 2, Chris Schwartz, Block 1.03, Lot 9, 5 Frederick Drive, Ocean, Zone 3, AR3/PRD. That case is carried to May 17th. Case number 4, Chris Tilton, Block 138.01, Lot 35, 1104 Brower Boulevard, Wanamassa, Zone R5. That case is carried to. Thank you. And case number 6, Christopher Donato, Block 113, Lot 38, 49 Wanamassa Point Road, Wanamassa, Zone R6. May 17th. Okay, seeing that we got through all that, we're going to go to case 1. Guy Harriet, block 25, lot 118, 213 Delaware Avenue, Oakhurst. This is an application to construct a detached garage with variance for building coverage over maximum. Good evening. You were sworn last meeting, weren't you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Mark the packet, please.
And
B2.
Bill's gonna do his report at Jim's.
Okay.
Regarding the planner's report, it's dated March 8th and it's already on the record.
Mhm.
There's nothing new in the report. I think Mr. Harriet already addressed the items in terms of testimony.
April 10th, planner's report. It's revised.
Where? The other
April-
side?
April 10th.
Where? Oh. Oh, I see. No. The only packet I got. Oh, there it is. Okay. Sorry.
April
it.
10th.
Got you.
It's
I'm sorry.
revised. They
Yep.
reduced the size.
Thank you. Alright, so I can read it. Quick.
It's short.
Applicant has revised the plan in response to request of the board engineer. This report supersedes my March 8th report that I was going on. The applicant is requesting to construct a 292.6 square foot detached garage. Construction of the garage will increase building coverage from 24% to 28%. The ordinance permits maximum building coverage of 27%. The reason for the construction of the garage is that the applicant requires more space to store materials and a sheltered storage space to accommodate his disability. The excess building coverage equates to a total of 76 square feet over the maximum permitted lot coverage, which would not be perceptible by the naked eye. The board could consider that the benefits of having the closed garage outweigh the detriment of the 76 square feet excess building coverage. And I have a report dated April 10th, and which will summarize. We made some recommendations during Mr. Harriet's testimony. Mr. Harriet did everything we wanted. We had a technical review meeting, revised his plan, gave us everything we wanted. The only thing we asked him is that the garage have gutters which drain from the rear to the front and dump onto the new driveway, which I understand he's going to agree to.
Number 4.
So I recommend the board act positively from an engineering point of view, and I think Jim concluded that the over 1% coverage variance was de minimis, if not a benefit to have a garage rather than 2 parking stalls in the open.
Thank you. Sir?
That's fine. Yeah, we agreed to everything in the new drawings, and everything's agreeable as far as
Gutters also to the front?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
everything dump onto the driveway.
Bill, in your report, says the construction will lessen impervious coverage upon the site and reduce surface runoff
That's
to a
correct.
yard area low point within the neighborhood, so there's certainly a benefit.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the audience? Move to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second. Rachel, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Action.
Move for a positive resolution.
Second.
Rachel, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Please see Rachel. Next case is case number 3, Stephen Scaba, block 8.02, lot 24, 46 Larchwood Avenue, Oakhurst, Zone R1. This is an application to construct a 10-foot solid tennis court fence with gates with variances for fence height and solid fence over maximum in the front, side, and rear yard. Attorney for the applicant, Jennifer Krimko. See how fast that went?
Okay, no, I'm gonna be testing, it's not exactly accurate, the way it was just described there.
I read it off here.
Oh, I don't know who wrote all of that.
Okay.
Just so the board Jennifer Krimko on behalf of the applicant, just so the board understands, when we originally submitted this application, Jim issued a report that basically said you have to be kidding me. And then we went and met with him and showed him the color rendering and explained what we could do under the current zoning as proposed to what we are doing, which we believe you'll hear through testimony is most definitely a better zoning alternative. As the board knows, we are entitled to put a 12-foot high chain link fence in the location where the proposed fence is. Obviously, a 12-foot high chain link fence is unsightly. You can see right into the rear yard. We could also, by right, In front of that chain link fence at the 50-foot line, put a 6-foot completely solid fence. So the alternative to this is a solid 6-foot fence, then the chain link behind, so it would appear to be a 6-foot chain link fence, a 6-foot solid fence with 6 feet of chain link on top of it. You're gonna hear through the testimony, this was thoughtfully considered from an architectural standpoint to create, it's not a solid fence in the front yard, full solid fence in the front yard, and a 6-foot solid is allowed. It's a 6-foot solid fence, the top of which is 50% open. So I just wanna clarify all that, turn it over.
I think because of the closeness of the fences, that's the other problem.
No, there is no problem with the closest to the fences. Originally, Jim had asked about the fact that we have a retaining wall on the right side of the property, and I'll move all this in, and the question was proximity of the proposed fence on the side yard and the wall. As you know, if it's within 10 feet, you have to add the two together, and that wasn't an issue. We were further than 10 feet, so the proximity isn't an issue.
Rachel, mark the packet, please. Thank you.
You want me to
Report, please.
I have a planner's report dated April 10th, 2018.
Thank you.
I'm going to read it. I'm sorry.
Did you get one?
I'll read it just to be safe. Accurate is another question, but I'm sorry. The applicant has submitted revised architectural plans clarifying the appearance of the proposed fencing. This report supersedes my report of May 10th, 2018 in its entirety.
I don't think it's May, it's probably March.
Okay, I'm just reading.
I know, it's
I'm
probably,
accurate.
probably March.
Okay.
Right.
The
Because
applicant
May
is
10 didn't occur yet.
whatever. The applicant is requesting approval to maintain and construct a 10-foot high, plus high solid fence around a mixed-use area consisting of a tennis court, a pool, and driveway access. Portions of the fence in the side and rear yards are currently in place. The portion facing Larchwood Avenue includes the fence frame and gates and is lined with plywood at this time. While the ordinance permits a 12-foot high open fence around a tennis court, the area in question is not solely a tennis court, but also includes vehicular access over the tennis court to a garage and access to a pool. The portion of the fence that faces Larchwood Avenue is 10 foot high and will also include a self-closing rolling gate to allow vehicular access to a garage and a self-closing door to allow pedestrian access. It will consist of a solid fence for the first 6 feet in fence height and a slatted fence for the remaining 4 feet. The slatted portion meets the ordinance definition of a solid or open fence. Section 24-48.3.A states, tennis court, and this is from the ordinance, obviously. Tennis court fences shall have a maximum height of 12 feet, provided they are located in a side or rear yard, and provided that they are located no closer than 10 feet to a property line. While the fence is around a tennis court, it also encloses the pool and garage area and does not solely enclose a tennis court, so that it is not solely a tennis court fence. Consequently, the technical permitted height of the fence is 6 feet, and a variance is necessary for the height of the fence. The board should note that the applicant could construct a 12-foot high fence behind the 6-foot high portion of the fence, which would only surround a tennis court. That fence would likely be less attractive than the proposed fence. I think you've heard that from the applicant's attorney.
I didn't know
So
we were
there's-
reading this in, and I saw Jim wasn't here, so I wanted to make sure that got in.
Oh, don't worry, we take care of you.
Thank you.
With regard to the overall height of the fence, the board should also consider that if the garage and pool were not there, a 12-foot high fence would be permitted. The purpose of allowing a higher fence for a tennis court is to provide a barrier so that stray tennis balls do not leave the site. Consequently, if the fence were not solid, it seems that the intent of the ordinance would be addressed. It should be noted that there exists a 6-foot 6-inch high fence on the south side of the building facing the street. The 6-foot 6 high fence is not permitted, and a variance from section 21-48.3 of the ordinance is also necessary. The applicant has agreed to reduce the height of that fence to a conforming 6 feet, eliminating a variance. I actually have two engineering reports. To be honest with you, April 10th, it doesn't really matter. The only one that I care about is the March 10th. And from an engineering point of view, I just want signed, sealed details for the installation, and shall provide a note stating that the structure has been designed to withstand wind loading of this area. All necessary permitting shall be obtained.
Thank you. Who's going to testify?
Before he does, why don't I move the items into evidence real quick? Or you wanna have them sworn in first? It's up to you.
Let me
Mr.
swear him in.
Okay, David Collins, the architect.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name address?
David Collins.
Okay. And you're,
Licensed architect, state of New Jersey, you've appeared before this board
I have
numerous times.
for both of those, yes.
okay.
He lost some weight, he's not as, maybe you don't recognize
Just
him.
getting older
Rotund?
and
Is
drawn.
that what you're gonna say, Jen? Rotund?
What? No, I said he lost
Portly.
some weight.
Okay.
I didn't come here for this kind of business.
This is helping me.
Jennifer.
Yeah, quickly. A1, the as-built survey by Chet Sermont, revised through 11/19/17. Is that one, Rachel? You do. A2 are the architectural plans prepared by David Feltz Collins Architecture LLC. That's dated March 26, 2018. And then A3 is just a color version of what's included on A2. And it gives, it's hard to see in black and white what the fence is. The fence appeared to be solid in the black and white, and you couldn't see the spacing. So at Jim's request, we had this prepared, and at Rachel's request, we made some copies.
Looks great.
It's a lot of fence.
Yeah, but they could have a 12-foot chain link fence.
Yeah, but only around the tennis court.
David, and one other thing I wanna point out to the board, we're not appealing it, but the ordinance doesn't say that a tennis court fence cannot enclose other things. There is a fence that goes around a tennis court, and it's the interpretation of the zoning officer that if it serves more than one purpose, it can't qualify for the tennis court exception. That's just to put, that's just as way backwards. So the ordinance doesn't specifically prohibit it. And one of the other things that we talked about when Jim and Jim's not here, is that by having it set up like this, we're keeping from having the cars parked on the driveway and out front, and actually allow them to pull all the way in. If we didn't do the combination fence, as it were, then the garage would just be used for general storage, and the cars would not be able to pull in and would be left out on the.
So this fence opens.
Correct, and that's what, Dave, you were sworn, you heard me give a very lengthy summary. Just talk about the design of the fence and how it's gonna function, and why it's designed in the way that it is.
Certainly. So when we started to lay out the site a couple of years ago, before we built the house, one of the things we tried to do is consolidate the uses to preserve some of the natural features on the site. So the biggest move we did is we tried to put the tennis court directly up against the house. It allowed us to organize the tennis court north-south, and it allowed us to pull it a little further away from the side. And our design intent was and is that this portion of the fence that's centered on the driveway is mechanically will move to the side and allow car access into the back area, which allows access into the garage doors, which are directly behind the solid wall trash enclosure that you see here.
Dave, if it wasn't designed this way, there'd actually be significantly more impervious coverage on the site, because you'd have the driveway leading to the garage plus a tennis court.
That's correct. By consolidating that, we're using it not only as a driveway, but as a tennis court as well. So it reduces impervious coverage.
And obviously you took great detail, whether it's the board members' preferred style of architecture. This is a distinct style of architecture for the house, and you were careful to design the fence to go along with that, to complement that.
That's right. So this house is mostly stucco, but the accent pieces are made with ipe, which is a Central American hardwood. There's solid hardwood on this portion of the building that turns to slats where the windows are, and the central portion, which is glazed, has a slatted brise-soleil in front of it. So we took those two elements, the solid portion, and built the bottom 6 feet of the wall as solid, and to match the other brise-soleils that we have the top portion as slatted and open.
Is that the same wood?
It is the same wood.
Without offending your sensibility as a gifted architect, if
After you called them.
Albeit poorly.
I didn't call him anything, I said
It's rough.
after, without offending you, in your opinion, is what we're proposing more aesthetically pleasing or more compatible with the architecture of the house than a 12-foot chain link fence?
Absolutely is.
What's the percentage of open space in the slatted 4 feet?
I thought you would ask me that. We are 3/4 solid, 1.5 inch open. That might be 60, 75% open,
2/3.
something like that. Yeah,
Like 2/3.
2/3, right. So 66% open.
Okay. And,
You only require 50%. When we
What
talk
No,
about open.
he's only 33% open.
What? No,
No, I think it was the
I've
opposite.
exceeded it. I'm 66% open.
Open and 3/4.
1.5 inch open, 3/4
Slats
solid.
are inch and a three
Okay.
quarter, a 3/4
No
inch,
problem.
and the opening is.
Okay.
That's fine.
Right. That's
um,
correct.
So it exceeds.
Yep.
And obviously, in your opinion, this is a much more aesthetic design than what I'd indicated, doing the solid masonry wall all the way across without access to the garage and putting the chain link 12-foot high fence behind it.
Yes, I believe that our design is tied in with the overall design of the building.
And we're willing to stipulate that if that fence is taller than 6 feet, we would, on the, it's the south side?
There's a small portion here on the south side. It wraps from the building face over, and for whatever reason, when it was installed slightly high, and we'll have that modified down to 6 inches to meet the ordinance.
Is that the true color, pretty much?
This is pretty much the true color. Again, it's a natural wood, so it will patina over time,
Right.
but it is a dark, it's a Central American walnut essentially. Very, very hard, durable wood.
And that goes around the side of the property also,
No,
correct?
it don't,
No?
it actually goes around, that's the front, along this side, I think it's
Chain link.
right, it's the chain link on the side where you,
And once you get beyond the front to enclose the right side of the tennis court and the rear side of the tennis court is chain link, and then of course the building, is the barricade for the right side of the tennis court as you look to the front.
And then there's where the chain link fence is on the outside of the chain link fence. You're saying that you're going to do plantings there.
on the inside, there's plantings,
On,
yes.
I'm sorry. Thank you. On the inside, so on the inside there's.
Correct, and the chain link fence, the remainder of the fence complies everywhere else, it's just for this aesthetic portion in the front.
Right.
That's, it's where the chain link is not a corner lot, it's adjacent to another property.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Just so I'm perfectly clear, we just need to, the approval is just for that stretch right there.
Right.
In the front.
Correct.
Just to clarify in my mind, there's a retaining wall running along the whole side of this property, and the chain link is closer to the house than the retaining wall. Am I reading that right?
I believe that's correct. Let me just look at that.
No, the retaining wall
No.
is
No.
close to the house, the chain link fence is on the outside of the retaining wall.
Here's the chain link fence, the solid right here.
Oh, that.
It's the other way.
I'm sorry, there's also a 5-foot chain link fence on the property line, Miss Bonnie, I apologize, I was looking at the wrong one.
Oh, that's 5 foot.
There's a 5-foot along the property line,
Okay.
and then interior
There's a
adjacent,
10-foot.
right, adjacent, that's on the inside, that's
Okay,
on the
there-
house
So
side.
there is a 10-foot chain link on
Correct.
the house
Tennis
side.
court fence.
Right,
And
and-
there's a 5-foot chain link on the outside between that and the neighbors. And
Correct.
there's a retaining wall in between.
Correct,
And the plantings are in between those two fences?
yeah,
And there's enough room to maintain that?
yes.
Who's attacking? I mean, there's so many, why all the fences? Why 3 fences within each
Well,
other?
it
I don't-
very well may be that 5-foot fence was existing and was there when they purchased the house, and the 10-foot fence is required for
Yeah.
the tennis courts.
I can say that I was on the site before we started any construction, and there was a 5-foot chain link fence. It could have been the neighbor's fence for all I know, but it was on the property line. So all we did was we built the retaining wall and bult the
With
tennis
that,
court
We're
wall.
trying to keep everybody in.
That makes sense to me. I just couldn't understand why there was a 10-foot chain link fence, then a retaining wall, and then a 5-foot chain link. And in the back, what are we talking about? We've got the 10-foot chain link fence around the tennis court area, and a 5-foot chain link fence towards the property line.
Right,
Well,
because the property has to be fenced in for the pool,
Yes,
so
of course.
that 5-foot chain link serves to
Full fence.
And that's already existing.
fence, and that's existing, and the 10-foot is required for the tennis court.
Okay. And then and that is, and the retaining wall goes all the way around the property in the back.
No, it doesn't
No, it
appear
kinda
to.
dies right.
No.
It turns in the back corner of the
Way
north.
across the tennis court.
Okay,
I
This-
believe it was
this-
just put in to level
See
the
right here?
tennis court, right?
The site slopes down to that back corner naturally.
Variance for change of grade?
Sorry,
The site slopes to that back corner, the natural grade, and we just had to hold that up.
I got it. I was having trouble understanding.
Yeah.
Basic.
Alright, I just wanted to feel cover bases.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Middle of the play area?
No.
It says.
Mr. Fuller?
What's the matter?
You good?
12 foot with
Russ?
perforated-
Any questions from the public?
Want me to perforate a pipe?
Now, what's this thing across the back? I mean,
Nothing else is
It's
being,
a pipe. It's a
That's
perforated pipe.
That's a
It's underground.
perforated pipe. It's
This
not a
this is all the
fence.
perforated pipe.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at perforated.
It has an extensive drainage system. It's a lot of,
Yeah.
a couple of them over there do.
Because otherwise, it goes under the play area.
Yeah.
not through it.
now that was required, I assume, as part of the building permit.
Yeah, okay. I just,
We're good?
a little hard to read the small print.
Good? Anyone from the public here to be heard? Motion to call the public, motion to close the public hearing.
I'll move. Second.
Rachel, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Action.
I'll
Someone-
move for positive resolution. And I'll second.
Rachel, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Please call Rachel tomorrow.
She'll let me know what to do?
Yeah.
Alright.
Thank you.
Very much.
Next case is case number 5. Catherine Parkin, block 25.20, lot 11, 185 Cliffwood Road, Oakhurst, R4 zone. This is an application to remove and replace an existing deck with variances for side yard setback under minimum.
Mr. Chairman, there's a little problem with the notice on this case, and I've reviewed it with Rachel.
Okay?
Number one, the surrounding properties were noticed both by mail and by personal signature. Unfortunately, we don't have the dates of some of the personal signatures. We have corrected one, and we received verification that they understand and they waived their 10-day right. The second one was personally signed and mailed, but the white copy of the mailing was destroyed because Perkins thought that since they signed for it, she didn't need the white copy. But there's no date on the signature again. However, she does have tracking information from the Postal Service that there was a certified mail mailed to the Brooklyn address of those property owners. So between their own signature and we know that it was mailed, that's services acceptable on all of the mailings of the properties or the notices within the 200 feet. The Asbury Park Press, however, screwed up and put the wrong block number or lot number, one of those. Both. Okay, although she sent in the same notice that she gave to the neighbors with the right one on it, the press, screwed it up. So, as we've done before, we'll hear it tonight, we won't vote on it. She unfortunately gotta put it back in the press again for the next meeting, and when she provides that, I will bring the type of resolution that I'm getting your vibe on tonight to be reviewed at the next meeting, so she won't lose that month time.
Okay. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Rachel, please mark the packet. Ms. Parkin, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
State your name and address.
Catherine Parkin, 185 Cliftwood Road in Oakhurst.
Thank you. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Okay, I have a planner's report dated March 31st, 2018. The applicant is proposing to replace an existing deck with a new deck in the same exact location. The ordinance requires a 10-foot side yard setback, and the existing and proposed decks are set back 8 feet. No other variances are necessary. I have no concern regarding the request. However, the survey shows a shed in the rear yard that is in a non-conforming location. It appears that this shed has been removed, but the applicant should confirm this. If it still exists, it should be relocated to a conforming location or removed. And I have a engineering report dated April 11th, and I have no engineering concern.
Thank you. Was the
I want to note,
Yes?
I included in the packet an email from
I'll ask anyway. Shed's not there anymore?
Not there.
Okay. All right. So, can you tell us in as few words as possible what you'd like to do?
replace the exact same deck.
Why?
Why?
The concrete that's immediately out the back door is falling apart, and
Okay.
the footings for the deck itself are weak in places, so both need to be replaced.
Are you replacing the deck with wood?
With Trex,
Okay. Okay.
Same look.
it's exactly the same.
Same look. Just the same. Okay. Any questions from the board?
There's no way of moving the deck 2 feet less, right?
The reason that I'm here is that the back door opens that width, so that it's not stylistic. It's practical to be able to open the door.
So if we reduce the size of the deck, the back door wouldn't open.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense. No questions from the board. Any questions from the public? Move to close the public hearing.
I
Rachel?
so move.
Second.
Rachel, please call the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Action.
But that's to close the public hearing.
Yes.
No action, remember? We're gonna.
Oh, no
carry
action.
this-
That's right. We have to continue.
Okay, I-
Sorry. Sorry.
What, hey, you're gonna vote? Is that gonna?
Sorry.
We're gonna carry this to the
I'll
meeting
take it.
of May 17. I think I'll bring a positive resolution. If the notice is correct, the board will be notified, and they'll take the appropriate action on the 17th, which would have been the same, because we don't do our resolutions tonight until the next meeting. So you,
But I appreciate you letting me put in the the fixed announcement.
Yeah, well,
so thank you.
this is the second time. Last time we had something that it was put in, and they put it under Asbury Park. Okay, and I couldn't permit that because maybe somebody didn't read it because it said Asbury Park instead of Ocean Township.
Right.
So we know who to blame, not you. Okay.
So do we,
So we're gonna carry this to the 17th.
Okay.
do we actually have to wait to close the public hearing then?
Well, what we'll do is reopen it.
I'll reopen it.
We'll reopen the public hearing. As of tonight, it's closed, but we'll have to reopen it so we can put in the proof of service, and if there's anybody who wants to appear, because we're advertising it again, they certainly can be heard.
Do you want me to reopen it tonight? Or do you want me to wait until next month?
You can move to reopen it pending.
Huh?
I move to reopen the public
I'll
hearing.
second.
Rachel, I think you have to call the roll again.
And we'll
Sorry,
leave it
guys.
open
Okay.
through May 17th, right? And then we'll close it.
Yeah.
Because technically someone could be constrained from testifying if they
Right.
were
Yeah.
affected
Right.
by the notice and,
Okay, Ms. Bonnie.
yes.
Yes.
Ms. Samantha.
Yes.
Ms.
Yes.
Tessabatti.
Yes.
Ms. Snow.
Yes.
Okay. See you next month.
Okay, thank you.
Too many people here.
Everybody else is here for Gribble?
Next case is case number 7, Richard T. Gribble, block 123, lot 50, 44 Ballard Drive, Ocean, Zone R5. This is an application to construct a rear 2-story addition to the existing home, renovate an existing detached garage, and install pavers, paver patios, driveway, and fencing with variances for front and side yard setback under minimum and driveway width over maximum in the front yard. For the applicant, Richard Tilton. Good evening. Rachel, please mark the packet. Mr. Gribble, will you be testifying?
Just Mr. Namarkot.
Okay. Please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
State your name.
My name is Mark, M-A-R-C, Namargut, N as in Nancy, E-M-E-R-G-U-T. One of the owners of N2 Architecture, 304 Main Street, Avon by the Sea.
Did you ever testify before this board before?
I have not.
Are you a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey?
Yes, I am.
Good enough. Okay. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Mr. Higgins is here.
Mr. Higgins.
I am here.
I quit.
When did he come? When did he come in?
I snuck in the middle of the last hearing.
Okay.
Okay. It's dated March 31st. The applicant is proposing to expand an existing single-family residence by constructing a second story over an existing porch at the rear of the building, adding a small two-story addition to the rear of the existing porch, and constructing a small covered porch at the front of the building. An existing garage will be repaired and proposed paver driveways and architectural fencing will be installed. The site is a 60-foot wide, approximately 120 foot deep lot situated on the south side of Ballard Drive. It is occupied by a two-story single-family residence and a garage. The butts Steel Lake to the south. The site is located in an area of single-family residences. The site is located in the R5 single-family residential zone. The following variances are necessary. And just so the board's aware, these are all existing conditions which are just being repaired. There's no increase in the magnitude of the variances. A minimum side yard setback, 9 feet required, 1 exists for the residence, 1.3 feet exists for the garage. Front yard setback, accessory structure, 30 feet required, 1.1 feet exists for the proposed, exists and is proposed for the garage. Side yard setback patio, 10 feet required, 4 feet exists and is proposed. Front yard setback patio, 30 feet required, 23 feet exists and is proposed. Driveway width, 20 feet permitted, 28 feet exists and proposed. Driveway setback from the side property line, 5 feet required, 1.4 feet exists and proposed. And the proposed improvements are predominantly existing conditions. All other improvements are fully conforming. So anything he's putting new on the site is fully conforming.
All right, I have a report dated April 11th. Now I'm going to throw some water all over Mr. Higgins' report.
Yep.
Everything Mr. Higgins said is true per the application as filed.
Okay.
But then when you look at that neighborhood, it's a really unique setup. Okay, and a lot of these homes have the old tiny garage up front, right at the right of way or right near it, and then the house backs up to the lake, and so it's a really perfect design for that. That's why it was done that way. Having looked at that, and the applicant also proposed a 28-foot wide driveway, which is a variance that we don't like to see. So I made a recommendation. I recommended that the garage was in pretty bad shape. At least it looked to me. There's some pics of it in your brochure. So I recommended that they maybe consider taking that garage down, constructing a 2-car garage with a 3-foot side yard setback. It's a variance, but it's a better setback than exists because it allows the side of the garage to be maintained. And set it back 17 or 18 feet maybe. They're about 17-ish there now. That would allow 2 cars of today's size to park on a 20-foot driveway between the roadway and the garage. So they would get 4 parking stalls on site, 2 in a garage, without an extra wide driveway.
Right.
And so we made that recommendation along with a couple other technical things. I've had some conversations via email with the applicant's attorney, and I understand they've seriously considered my recommendations, and I'll let them take it from there, but I think if they do it, it's a win for everybody unless it offends somebody somehow.
And just for the record, Bill and I have discussed this prior to the meeting. It was after my report was submitted, and I agree with him 100%.
I like that.
So are you going to do that?
I think we're gonna do that. Mr. Chair,
Okay.
just real quick, Richard Tilton, Allenhurst, New Jersey. I'm here this evening on behalf of Richard Gribble and Stephen Boyce. They're the applicants and the owners of the property. They're here with me. To my left is Mr. Nemergut, our architect. For the record, we've submitted architectural plans consisting of 3 sheets. They're prepared by N2 Architectural, dated 12/31/17 with revisions through February 20th, 18, prepared by Mr. Nemergut. We also submitted a plot and grading plan prepared by Charles Surmont, dated December 31st, 2017, with revisions through February 15th, 2018. We also submitted a packet of 4 colored rendering, not to be upstaged by Ms. Krimko. These have 4 pages to them, so.
Mark, the architecturals that you listed all have an A1, the site
Yes.
planning 2, and on our.
This is the same thing as in the panel. Okay. Sorry.
just briefly, it is,
Oh, you got another
There's
one?
more.
Oh, there's more.
the second page of the packet is, the four elevations, the four proposed elevations that Mr. Nemrigat will testify to. Page 3 is the current condition of the house, and you can see it's an overall poor condition. You can also see how the house is centered, I'm sorry, it's located to the southeast of the property, so it really is what's dictating the variance relief that we're seeking tonight. And you can see the garage that Mr. Fitzgerald was talking about. It's really in poor condition. And then the fourth page shows essentially just a colored rendering, a schematic. Poof, that's what it's gonna look like, about like that. It also shows the new fence that's gonna be installed. There's a broken down fence that's there now. Mr. Fitzgerald did mention that suggestions for the garage, which the applicant intends to integrate into the plans, because it's a good idea, will allow more off-site parking.
Right.
But let me just have Mr. Nemrigat
Can I-
testify to that. Yeah.
I have one question though on the last page where you have the rendering of what it's gonna be. That's a 2-car garage, correct?
Yeah, now it's gonna be a 2-car garage.
Okay.
And these were done before Mr. Fitzgerald's suggestion, before we made our revision.
So you'll revise those plans, right?
Well, that's just a coloring, yeah.
Yeah, but
we
you're
have
gonna revise it, yeah.
Mr. Nemrigat, actually, maybe we can just, want to just talk about
Yeah, I could.
that.
Yep.
And, yeah, what, that'll be A4.
Yeah, that's.
There we go.
So if we approve it tonight, so they're subject to new plans,
Yeah.
be approved by our engineer.
Yeah.
And if you would just identify maybe what the title block says for A4.
Yes, so A4 is a drawing prepared by N2 Architecture titled SK, and it's dated, that would be 04/15/18.
Okay, and you prepared that after reviewing Mr. Fitzgerald's report?
I did,
Is that-
yes,
And
yeah.
maybe you can just quickly tell the board what we're doing there.
The major change here is regarding the garage, of course, where we went to a garage that was approximately 22 foot square. It is moved back off the side yard 3 foot, and is moved off the front yard 5 foot, thus allowing for about 16.5 feet of space between the curb cut and the garage. We also eliminated the additional parking spot that we had originally on the side, as well as the walkway. We maintain the proposed walkway that goes to the formal entrance to the house.
And so we've now mitigated or minimized the variance relief that we were requesting for the side and the front yard setback.
Yes.
Which is the garage.
Yes, we have.
Okay.
Yep.
I wasn't listening, and I do apologize. Those plans were submitted when, or they're
No,
not? They have not been
what
submitted.
that is supplemental information
Okay, so I
that
thought-
illustrates the recommendations I made that the applicant is agreeing to.
So you can do a 2-car garage. What size is it going to be?
It's
22 foot square.
Yes, 22 by 22.
Okay, and it's 3 feet off of the side yard.
Correct. Yep.
And it's
5 foot off the front.
Correct.
no,
No.
not 5 foot. You said 16
No,
and a half.
16
No,
is the
it's-
curb line, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's 5 foot off the side of the front yard boundary, and approximately 16'9" off of the curb cut, just for relevance.
So that's the right of way.
Well, no, this is different than Winnemassa Point Road. Okay, the garage was actually set back something like 10 or 11 feet
Okay.
from the curb line, and I don't know what that was from the curb, right away set back 10 or 11 feet from the curb line, and the garage was set back, I don't know, 1 or 2 feet. and
1 foot.
One,
Yeah.
1 foot and change.
1.1
So now
actually.
the setback's going to be 5 feet from the property line.
Correct, from the front property line.
Which gives us 16 and a half feet
A
plus
little more-
5.
A little more than that.
Plus 5.
No, gives you a total of 16 and a half or so.
16.5
curb.
plus or minus
Right, in front
from
of the
curb,
The garage.
and you can put 2 cars in that.
Well, here's the thing, the ordinance is satisfied by the garage, because you
I
require,
wasn't worried about the ordinance.
you can put 2 cars in,
So
there's
that
not
would
many
give
cars
them the-
longer than 16 feet.
That would give them the ability to park
Four cars,
without,
yes.
without a problem,
Right.
and it would be approximately 16.5 feet.
Yep.
Okay,
And the
Right.
driveway will conform as to width.
and with
Yes.
20 feet, and it's now, is it now 28?
Now it's less than that, but
Oh, it's less than that.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
less than
they had
28.
proposed 28.
Which makes nothing but
That's
sense.
good.
You know, 20, it should be a little, probably about 18 feet, right?
It's gonna be 20 now.
So 20, okay.
20
Right,
permitted.
that conforms, yeah.
20 permitted, so we can
Right.
conform that. Okay, I missed. Yeah, I got it. So we're gonna mark these, since they're not filed 10 days before, we usually just mark these
As a,
Identity, right?
A for identification only.
Right.
And typically, you would make those suggestions and we'd say, yes, that's a great idea, we'll submit revised plans. We've already done,
Yeah, right.
we brought our
Okay.
homework with us.
So those revised plans have to be subject to review of our
Yeah.
professionals.
Of course.
So,
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
But that would be part of resolution compliance.
Right.
If the board is inclined to grant the application tonight, subject to that change.
Right. And do you wanna briefly just tell them about, what's proposed for the house?
Sure, of course.
We can look at the other boards probably using it, right?
These are, yes. So what I'm referencing here is drawing A 1.0, which is part of the original application. These are the floor plans for the structure. What we wanted to do here with the first floor, we have an existing a one-story structure in the front of the house, which was an addition at some point in time. We wanted to convert that from what it was, basically a kitchen addition, to a mudroom entrance, which would be used for day-to-day entry to the house. At the same time, we wanted to construct a small covered porch to allow ingress and egress out of that door. So that is actually new area, that porch alone, but the rest of the space is existing footprint. Throughout the first floor of the house, we basically just moved walls around to get it more in line with today's standards of living, open concept. One of the unique things about this structure is that we have a side entrance on the house, the existing side entrance, which was something that we wanted to maintain. So that's why you can see on the site where we come along the side of the property and then engage the front door. So at that point, to mark that entrance, we wanted to have a small overhang on it to make it look kind of nice and allow people to see it from the walkway.
Faces the water.
And
You
then,
mentioned you're out of the rain, which you're fumbling with your key,
in addition, most of the work we're doing is on the back of the house. On the first floor, there's an existing covered porch that's screened in. We're actually adding approximately 4 foot to the south on that. That's compliant with all the setbacks. That's about it for the first floor, I believe. And as we go to the second floor, now this house is originally a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house, as it is now. The bath is actually on the second floor. So what we wanted to do, we added a half bath on the first floor, obviously, but we needed to expand that second floor to make it a little more, like I said before, in line with today's standards, adding a master suite. So the net gain here is we're going to end up with 3 bedrooms like we had, but one's going to be a master suite, and we're going to add another bathroom upstairs, part of the master suite. So that's all we're really doing here. And we're getting that additional real estate by going out over part of the existing porch, because that's an existing 1-story structure. We're going out over that, and then part of the addition I mentioned earlier in the first floor, that 4-foot addition, is reflected on the second floor as well to gain more space into that master suite. Again, all of that is compliant with the setbacks and the ordinance. The only other area that is worth noting here is, again, as I mentioned on the first floor, there was the old, let's say, kitchen addition that was done years ago. That's a 1-story structure. That roof is a very low pitched roof, as you can see from the images. That's one of the first things next to the garage that you see when you approach the property. So we kind of focused on those 2 elements. With this element, we wanted to sort of match the main house massing with a steeply pitched roof and in a slightly shallower shed. So we managed to do that here. You can see on the elevations and the rendering that's before you that we tried to match that and break up the scale of that mass of the wall that you see when you approach the house. And there's the covered porch as well that goes with it as well. One other note, just to jump around it now that I see it, we also have a balcony on that second floor off the back that connects to 2 bedrooms. Again, that first floor is a shallow pitch for 1-story component that's there now. All we're doing is just adding an open balcony on top of that with a railing that is accessed by 2 bedrooms. It's fairly small, pretty minor. So. And then I guess now's the time maybe to talk about the garage. If I will, I'm going to go back to, with the change in the garage mass, when we went from the existing garage is about 18 foot square. The proposed, as I mentioned before, is 22 foot square. So there were some slight changes to the massing that we did. kept the same idea, just sort of pumped it up a little bit to get the square footage we need to park the 2 cars. We did keep compliance with the height ordinance, obviously, as well. And we also have the same little gable dormer on the side. And that's pretty much about it with regard to the garage.
What, are we increasing lot coverage?
Okay,
What's
so
it now?
so the existing building coverage now, let me just get my. So the existing is 24.6. The initial proposal, if you will, is 26.9, and what we're going up to is 29.8. So we're under the 35, so we're compliant.
And we're allowed 35 in this zone?
Yes, yes.
And it-
305, yeah.
And with regard to lot coverage, it's actually a wash. We're maintaining 50% lot coverage, or impervious, as you call it.
Impervious.
Siding is gonna match the garage and the house.
What are we doing with the siding, the roof, the colors?
Right.
Sure. I think, we spent some time going through and designing the siding, and I think the rendering that you guys see in front of you is pretty much exactly what we're going to end up with there.
You're gonna re-side, the new garage is gonna match siding and roof and window styles and.
Yes, yeah, they're going to both basically be the same. We're thinking potentially a cement siding, like a hardy plank siding, with nice Anderson windows. I forget if we're doing like an asphalt roof. I believe that was the case, with a little bit of metal roofing on it. And the garage will match that, so tie them all together.
Good. Any questions from the board? No questions? Anyone here from the public to be heard? Okay. Yes? No, you have to come up here and on the microphone. Okay, that's good.
Should identify.
Yeah, please come up and get on the microphone and state your name and address.
No, I'm Sandra Birchler. What else do I need to tell you?
Your address, please.
Okay, my address is 140 Wharfside, Monmouth Beach, but we own 46 Ballard Drive and we're almost completed with our new house there. So
Okay.
we are their next door neighbors.
Okay.
And we think they're going to do a great job.
Perfect.
And the house has been there sitting, unoccupied for several years, and we're anxious for them to get started.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else from the public to be heard? Rachel, please please close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion.
I second. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Action.
Move for a positive resolution.
Second.
Rachel, please call the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Please call Rachel tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Lovely presentation. Very nice. Great renderings. I love the renderings.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's going to be great.
When you finish the meeting, I need to talk.
It is.